signal location downloaded to PDA. Speech patterns in attached message indicate extreme risks. Warning, entering ecological dead zone, adding report to databank. Approaching signal location. Observing drop-in ghost Leviathan activity, cause unknown. Caution. Detecting unusual sound wave activity. Origin unknown. Wave amplitudes diminishing.
Hey there, I'm Aki, and this is how I added the Silence Leviathan to Subnautica. Oh well, my team did, I just made the model. The Silence will be a part of Subnautica Call of the Void. If you don't know what that is, check out the playlist in the top right. It is a DLC-sized mod we are working on, where we explore void clusters with underwater islands, of course, in the void. There's going to be a bunch of dangerous things, new stuff to explore, new biomes, new creatures, new leviathans, and a new story for you to follow as well. And because Call of the Void will take quite a long time, we've decided to release parts of the mod as standalone mods, as a kind of early access to individual features or things for you to give feedback to. We're calling these Call of the Void shards. And this is the first shard, which includes the Silence Leviathan and a little challenge to get past it. You can get it for yourself right now. Stick around till the end to find out how. The Silence is a very old fan-made concept, created by Onat FB. They've agreed to let us integrate it into Call of the Void, so here's how we did it. We first, of course, had to figure out how the bone on top of its head would work. And since we originally wanted the bone to fold back, we had to make it fold in of itself, to not make the Silence stab itself whenever it does that. We then just later decided to not fold the bone back completely, because it did look kind of weird, but first I had to spend hours on this model, which you get to see in our time-lapse. All these muscles were actually quite challenging to get to look right, but I'm really happy about the final result. Of course, all the sculpting work you don't even really get to see in the final game. Why? Well, you'll see it once we hop into the game. You'll obviously notice the very prominent crystals embedded in its skin, which were already there in the original concept. But since crystals play a major part in Call of the Void, it was just a perfect fit. You'll learn more about why they're there if you manage to scan it, and more about the crystals themselves in Call of the Void. But yeah, good luck scanning it. With this shard including a Leviathan, I know people are going to ask for some kind of weapon to fight it with. But we don't want you to fight the Silence, we want you to be terrified and run away. But if you do want some weapons, I can recommend War Thunder, today's sponsor. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made. You can play as tanks, planes, helicopters, and even ships, and pick from over 2,000 different vehicles to fight other players with. And they're not just one model. All the different pieces are recreated and destructible, so there's not just one boring health bar per vehicle, but you can actually target and destroy individual parts. To example, disable your opponent's engines, or even target individual crew members, which is like one of my favorite things about this game. There are over 100 years of vehicles in War Thunder, from the 1920s to today, and you can customize each one with hundreds of camouflages, equipment, and more. The 4K resolution graphics are beautiful, and the music is epic. I love playing planes since you can pull off some crazy maneuvers in the air and rain down fire on the ground units. And hey, it's free to play on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, with my link in the description. And if you're a new or returning player after half a year, you get a large bonus pack with multiple premium vehicles, a premium account, a 3D decorator, and all of this stuff as well, for a limited time by using that link. And to celebrate the upcoming new year, you can even grab these 3 snail decals. So click the link in the description and show War Thunder that Call of the Void is worth supporting. Now, let's get back to the Silence. The Silence can use this bioluminescent organ on its neck to emit sound waves that cancel out ambient sound and work as a sort of echolocation. So, when you stop hearing things, it knows where you are. But you'll have a hard time knowing where it is. That's because it is almost always cloaked, which means it's almost invisible. The only time you'll really be able to see it is just before it attacks. and for a short time afterwards. And then, it's too late. This was awful for testing, by the way. It used to be completely invisible, so when I spawned it in to test it, I thought the command didn't work. I got jump scared really badly. That's why it now spawns visible for a second if you spawn it with commands. It's also much bigger than a regular Ghost Leviathan, so you probably don't want to be caught outside of your Cyclops. The programmer, Lee23, made this the probably most unique Leviathan in Subnautica. Its hunting strategy and how it maneuvers is completely different from any other Leviathan. And Slendy, the animator, did some really good stuff with animations. It does not have any eyes or organs that can process visual data, so it's completely blind. Instead, sound and touch are the only things it can use to locate prey. You might think that's how the Reaper Leviathan works, but no. It really cannot see you if you're right in front of it and not making any noise. It will remember where it last heard sound and go over to investigate that area. When it gets close enough to a sound source or touches it, it will attack. That means you can make a loud noise in one area, then sneak over to another one to distract it. But how do you stop making sound? Well, by activating the silent running mode on the Cyclops and moving extremely slowly. Also, I forgot to mention the most important thing while recording. You can obviously also use decoys to distract the Silence. They emit sound, so the Silence will try to eat them too. They are your best friend when trying to cross the void to get to the new challenge area. Trust me. Or, you can try to rush past it, but I wouldn't recommend that. It's much faster than your Cyclops or Seamoth. But keep in mind, using your sonar is nothing but emitting a very loud noise. So, you may want to turn that off when traversing the void. Also, I really don't recommend using a Seamoth, or just swimming out on your own, but feel free to experiment. When you install the mod, you'll notice a signal out in the void, and that's your challenge. Get past the Silence to the Void Islands, and you'll get a little teaser for Call of the Void. Please note the Void Islands are completely temporary. Do not take that as like a quality standard for the islands we'll have in the final mod. Just wanted to make sure you guys know that. Of course, this is a shard, which means none of the things here are final, and we need feedback. The islands won't look like this, we'll have custom biomes, custom shapes, and more importantly, we'll be way further down. But also, we might update the Silence later on, give it new looks, new behaviors, who knows. It will definitely also not just spawn in the void like this, we will have something way cooler that we've already got planned for it. Now, I could go in depth on how it works and how you can get around it or what it can and cannot do, but I think it's a lot more fun if you just try it out yourself. I'm sure other creators will also try all of this out in case you don't own Subnautica on PC, so keep an eye out for videos from other YouTubers on experimenting around with the Silence, but I just recommend if you can, download the mod, try it for yourself, and see how the Silence reacts to what you do. It is incredibly fun, but also terrifying. I hope you have fun. And we also, last minute, added the void boomerangs to have something filling the islands, and you can go ahead and scan them, read their databank entry, or cook them if you for some reason really want to know what they taste like. To install the mod, click the link in the description and go to Nexus Mods. Click this button and then slow download. Make sure to also install all the prerequisites which pop up when you click the button. Unzip it and put the Silence mod file into the plugin folder under your game folder, BepInEx, and that's it. When you launch the game, you're ready to be eaten. I really hope you enjoy playing around with this as much as we have. The devs have been terrified the entire time while testing it. Please also make sure to give us feedback on this so we can make other Leviathans in Call of the Void even better. You can give us feedback in the comments or on my Discord server, or if you support the mod on Patreon, you can tell the devs directly on the development Discord server. Again, huge thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. You can click the link in the description to play for free and claim your bonus pack, and to tell them we are worth sponsoring. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you'll be terrified of the Silence, and as always, I'll see you next time. Goodbye!